Hi there guys, it's Joel here from Aussie Chart Trends. Today's market update is for the week ending Friday the 23rd of November 2012. In today's market update, we're going to be checking out the smp500 and the asx200. Today's market update is proudly brought to you by the guys over at tradingforblondes.com.au. Feel free to go over their website and check it out. Put your name in there and your email address, and you can get some free information there that you'll find useful. Also, feel free to pop past my website there at aussiecharttrends.com.au, and you can sign up to my newsletter there also. But before we get into today's update, guys, I've just got to remind everyone that aussiecharttrends.com.au and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as any form of investment advice. I'm not a licensed professional. You need to make your own decisions regarding your investments. I'm just here to help anyone searching for a practical direction in today's markets. So let's take a look at the smp500 firstly. Looking on the hourly chart here of the smp500, we've been watching this head and shoulders topping formation break down ever since the 6th of November. And you can see after the market violently broke down past that 1405 area, we got down to our expected target. And as you can see, all we did is we measured the depth of this pattern, and then we added that on to where the market broke down. And as you can see, the market's hit that area and then bounced off there. Now, I must admit, this week I actually raised this red line. If you watch the updates on the website, I made a slight adjustment to this red line. I had it below the very lows of the day, but I've actually lifted it up to the close of the day. So you can see here on this this descending channel that we had drawn here this week, we were waiting for a push out to the upside. Now, I was saying when we got down here that it did look like the smp500 was going to reverse, and that we may see some strength. Now, we've had two lines drawn on the chart this week. This one up here and this blue line down here. Now, I said if we could get over the 1389 area, that would indicate that we've got a small inverted head and shoulders pattern. Now, what is an inverted head and shoulders pattern? Well, it is a reversal pattern to the upside, and you can see that we've got a left shoulder here, a head down here, and the right shoulder isn't the best looking, but then we've had that breakout in last night's trade. So we were expecting that the markets would probably break out to the upside. Now, if we measure the depth of this pattern and we just add that on to where the markets broke out, you can see there that we've got that target of around the 1435 area. Now, interestingly enough, that is a resistance area from our triple top formation, where we had our triple top formation over here. Its support line is an area now where the markets will find resistance, and it is the expected target from this reversal pattern down here. So for the smp500, we're looking at that target around the 1435 area. If we came up here, guys, and we resisted off this area, came back down here for a back test, and then took out this red line up here again, well, we may be looking at a very large inverted head and shoulders pattern. And that pattern, well, let's just measure that. Just roughly. We add this on, say, over here. You can see that the S&P would have a target of around that 1530 area. And just to say one thing, let's have a look at the daily chart for a moment. On the daily chart here, going back to 2007, on the daily chart here going back to 2007, we can see that there was a complicated head and shoulders topping formation up here. Now, after breaking down and meeting its minimum expected target, the markets rallied on back up to test the neckline. Now, guys, that's exactly where we closed at, very close anyway, on Friday. And you can see that the markets gave way here in 2007 to the financial crisis. And over here, you can see after rallying back up, after all that bad Europe news that made the markets very volatile, we rallied on up to this neckline, got a little bit over it, and then we had a sell-off again. But then up here, we never got a sell-off. So we may be looking at, guys, a small sell-off. Looking on the daily chart going all the way back to 2007, you can see here after the financial crisis, we've rallied on up fairly strongly. Now the S&P seems to be going up in a rising wedge pattern, defined by this bottom line and this top line. And as you can see, guys, there's plenty of room to head on up and tag on that 1600 area. Now, funny enough, every time that the S&P 500 has tagged on this area up at the 1600, we've found strong resistance. If we look on an even longer term chart, going back the past 20 years or so, you can see that the S&P 500 is tagged up on this area every time, and then we've resisted down. So I think it's only logical that we will probably head on up to around the 1600 area. And when we do get up to this area, who knows? We'll just have to see what happens and track the markets as they get closer. So guys, that fairly much wraps up the S&P 500. Oh, there's just one more thing I'd like to show you. Just in case the markets decided to come down from this area and then take out this blue line down here. Around the 1350 area, if this line was to give way, guys, we'd be looking at an even larger head and shoulders topping formation. So it is critical that the markets do get over this area and then eventually get over the 1435 area also. So guys, this week we'll be watching very closely. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, by the way, just feel free to click the subscribe button just so that you can get these free updates and track the markets. Because if we did come down, guys, and break this area, we would be looking at a fairly large sell-off, and I would say into probably the 1100 region. And that would definitely affect the asx200. So guys, speaking of the asx200, let's take a look at that market. Along with the S&P, we have been watching the asx200 come down in this descending channel, defined by this line here and this line here. Now, we've seen a breakout this week, and I drew this line here on the chart, and that would signal a little reversal inverted head and shoulders pattern, with our left shoulder over here, our head down here, and our right shoulder up here, with our little handle pattern. Now, we did get the breakout, but we ran into overhead resistance coming from the top of our head and shoulders topping formation that we had up here. Now, guys, this target is pointing towards that 4,450 area, and I would say that we will eventually get up to this area, and we'll probably head on up to our next level of resistance there, around the 4,520 area. So guys, with the asx200, it is looking quite bullish at the moment. Once again, if we were to come down and take out this area down here, well, then that would be signaling a larger head and shoulders topping formation, with our left shoulder over here, our head, and our right shoulder. But let's just keep our eye on the asx200 along with the S&P 500. As long as the S&P 500 is able to hold up at those levels and reach that target of 1435, I think that the ASX is pretty safe at the moment. But never say never. We just have to just watch this market very carefully. Now, we may be forming a channel of some sort, but we'll follow this in the next week. So guys, short term, I think we're looking fairly good at the moment. We just need to hold up above these levels. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm sorry I got a bit detailed today about the S&P 500, but I think it is important that everyone does get an understanding of what really these patterns can do, and how patterns are a representation of human emotion. And if you guys are interested in my videos, all I ask is that you do subscribe, and I'll be back on Monday through to Thursday. If I don't get the update done for some reason, guys, by video, it'll be definitely on the website. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks for watching.